6月21日、日本時間20日、米国時間に行われたドジャース対オリオールズ戦で、ロサンゼルス、ドジャースは2対3で惜敗した。先発の山本由伸は6回3失点と粘りの投球を見せたが、打線の援護に恵まれず、勝利には届かなかった。それでも、試合前から好調ぶりを評価されていた山本には、デーブ、ロバーツ監督や解説陣から高い信頼の声が寄せられた。一方、大谷翔平は第2子誕生に伴う休養を経て、この日スタメン復帰。9回には今季16号となる本塁打を放ち、反撃の口火を切った。チームは敗れたものの、父となって戻ってきた大谷の一振りに、米メディアやファンから称賛が集まった。敗戦の中にも、ドジャースの2人の日本人スターが確かな存在感を示した一戦となった。続きはぜひ動画でご覧ください。
So reliever Blake Treinen, he was actually placed on the IL moments ago. Last night he pitched one inning of work, faced the minimum with 3 batters, had 2 strikeouts, but this evening he was placed on the IL with right elbow inflammation. So that means that Chase McDermott, who we saw about a month ago with the big league team, he has been activated and he is available out of the pen tonight, guys.
But not good news for one of the Dodgers 2024 World Series heroes. Kirsten, thank you very much. And she talked a little bit about Shohei Ohtani as well. And James, you were talking about this, just what Shohei Ohtani needed. He needed more dad strength. You know that he's happily now a father of 2 and happy to be back in the lineup with a little extra juice.
Well, John, you see these fans over here, right? They're eating, right? Having a good time, right? Well, how about they want some balls sometimes when he hits the ball? I know he can hit out the stadium, but he's hitting it, to about where we are. Another kid, you're definitely hitting it out there. And Dave Roberts probably has to buy another Porsche for the daughter, right? We saw him buy a Porsche for the first baby. So I think Dave Roberts is going to have to come out of pocket right here, but he's got it.
You're right. I was laughing when you said more dad strength. I'm like, how much strength does this man really need? Because it's just so impressive when he hits home runs with light tower power. But at the same time, as we said before, congratulations to the family. He doesn't like to miss games. I mean, we know that. And listen, this is no shot like, oh, you can't be there with the family. But that's the way it actually used to be. Like, you didn't have these paternity days. I know now Major League Baseball has those days. But, I'm sure, they also had that day off right before as well. So, but just the simple fact is, hope everybody's okay. The fact that he's in the lineup, I think, says a lot about how everybody's doing. And, welcome back, because the fans love you.
Absolutely they do. And from what we understand, it's also customary in Japan for professional baseball players there to not miss a whole lot of time on paternity. But Shohei Ohtani back here in Dodger Blue on this Saturday. Still much more to come. A day off for Max Muncy tonight, and that's probably because he's not going to get those 4 days off coming up in July during the All-Star break, because we expect him to be starting in the Midsummer Classic. Muncy will be joining us live from the dugout coming up at 6:30. Until then, keep voting to get him to the All-Star game at Dodgers.com/vote. Yamamoto gets the start tonight. He's been looking more and more like the pitcher who finished 3rd in last year's Cy Young voting. 4-1 over his last 5 starts. The lone loss was a 1-0 game to the Padres. He's thrown 35 2/3 innings, more than 7 innings per start. The ERA 1.01. The whip is 0.62. 32 strikeouts, only 5 walks, and he's only allowed a couple of home runs over those 5 games. And of course, in his last start, Yamamoto lost a no-hitter in the 9th inning in Chicago against the White Sox. And tonight he's facing an Orioles team. The last time he saw them, last September, he was 1 out away from no-hitting them in Baltimore. With that, let's send it inside the stadium once again. Kirsten joins us live with more on Yoshi. Hi there, Kirsten.
Hi, John. Well, in that last outing for Yoshinobu Yamamoto in Chicago, we were all talking about how it felt like deja vu. Of course, the positive, not how the game ended, but deja vu in regard to him being nearly perfect, nearly throwing a no-hitter throughout that game. Of course, coming into this one, now you're facing the team in which there is familiarity from what he was able to do last year. Dave Roberts this afternoon, when he talked about Yoshinobu, he talked about just what he's been seeing from him as of late and how it feels, just how close he could potentially be to whether that's a perfect game or even a no-hitter in his first time in his big league career.
He's in a good rhythm right now. I think that, handful of starts ago, he was kind of just getting by and not in a good spot consistently as far as pitch execution. But I think the last few, he's been really good. It seems like every time he goes out there, he can throw a no-hitter. And so, this team last year. He pitched really well in Baltimore, and hopefully we can see some of that tonight. But yeah, he's a very confident player, knows what he can do, and he's as good as anybody I've seen as far as execution.
Most importantly, with talking to Yoshinobu, he feels that right now he's in a really good spot. He feels confident. He likes how he's executing his pitches with his command. So he's in a really good spot coming into this one. And even after that last outing, he, of course, took the responsibility of when it came to that home run there in the 9th inning. That was the first hit and only hit he gave up in that game, but he was accountable for it. And so for coming into this one, he does feel really good. And in talking to some of his teammates, everyone's been talking about what happened, of course, last year in Baltimore. Nearly perfect one with that one. Unfortunately, they did end up losing that game. So maybe today could be a little bit of revenge, but some guys were saying we could be seeing something special tonight, especially coming off his last outing against the White Sox, guys.
Absolutely. We don't need a no-hitter. Just get a win this time after the way they lost that game in Baltimore last year when he was right on the edge of getting that no-hitter. Kirsten, thank you very much. And in his last start, he took a perfect game into the 8th inning against the White Sox. He had retired 45 consecutive batters going back to his previous start, just one shy of the Major League record, Nomar. If you go back to May 12th, he gave up 5 runs in that start against the Giants. Since then, in 5 starts, he's allowed a total of 4 runs.
Yeah, it really is incredible. The numbers have been incredible, but this is not surprising to us because we've seen this, right? This is what he expects out of himself. The big stage, the biggest stage, we've seen it. Obviously, World Series MVP. He is a joy to watch because he goes out there with incredible stuff. We know that the pitches that he has, the mixes that he has, the movement that he has, but he knows how to pitch. And then you combine all that. That is a joy to watch. For me, it's like sitting behind Pedro Martinez and watching him and what he would go out there with the pitches that he had, the strategy, the way he adjusted throughout the course of a game. That's what Yamamoto does. He adjusts over the course, what the hitters are doing, how they're adapting. He's adapting back, playing the chess game while having amazing stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I love that you said that. Making the adjustment, right? Seeing how the game's playing out. What are these guys' tendencies? What are they trying to do to me? And, he's been throwing a lot of fastball split, like as we know. But this year, I think he's been throwing the curveball a little more, mixing it in at the right times. And he's the type of pitcher, a lot of times pitchers, they get guys out on a certain pitch, and they're like, oh, I'm going to keep getting him out on that. He's smart enough to recognize patterns of hitters, too. He's like, okay, this guy's a smart hitter. Maybe he's looking for this. I'm actually going to mix it up. So that's really the sign of a Hall of Fame pitcher. And everybody's saying, you really can't be shocked anymore. That out of all organizations, especially the Dodgers organization being the best, right? You don't give a guy $300 million plus and not know that he's going to be pretty good for you. So, he's been sub 2.5 ERA as a career here. He's doing pretty good, and he's going to keep it up tonight.
I would say he's probably doing a little bit better than pretty good so far as he's a World Series MVP, a couple of championships as well. And as it currently stands, Yoshinobu Yamamoto is 5th in the NL Cy Young odds per FanDuel Sportsbook. You see Jacob Mizorowski of the Brewers, he's the odds-on favorite at the moment, and then Phillies pitcher Christopher Sanchez is second. Reigning Cy Young winner Paul Skeens at 12-1, and in 4th, Atlanta's Chris Sale. He's looking to add a 2nd Cy Young award to his mantle this season. It's interesting that Shohei is not in the top 5. Yamamoto is. And if Yamamoto keeps throwing the ball like he has, James, really for this last month, he's going to find himself more and more in that Cy Young conversation like last year when he was a finalist.
Yeah, you notice when he faces really good teams, the best hitters on those teams, he makes them look really bad, right? He's already getting the guys out at the bottom of the lineup, but he's making some of the best hitters look bad. His chase rate is fifth best in the NL. So, he's either 0-0 or he's 0-2. He's got such great stuff that he's getting so much chase rate. And I just really feel like the way he's attacking guys with 2 strikes. Guys hitting 137 with 2 strikes. Yeah, you're not supposed to hit great with 2 strikes anyways, but this guy, when you get to 2 strikes with him, it's pretty much over. And that's where we've seen where he's been hit around a little bit, especially early on in the season. It was early in the count, or maybe with 1 strike. Guys were not waiting to get to 2 strikes because they know that stuff is nasty. They don't want to do that.
And they were also doing damage to him on the first inning, very first inning. Like oftentimes with great pitchers, you want to get to them early because once they settle in. And Yamamoto's made that adjustment as well. But the other thing, too, I know we don't see Shohei on there. I wonder if they didn't put him on there only because they're maybe worried that he may not have enough innings because of the time he's pitching that once a week, which may affect things down the stretch. You never know. But obviously, I think later on we'll see him in the conversation if he keeps doing what he's doing. But for us, we mentioned this beginning of the year that both of these guys were going to be in the conversation for Cy Young. We know what they're capable of doing. We've seen their stuff. And also, both of these guys know what it means to be the first Japanese-born pitcher to win the Cy Young here. And that is huge pride and a huge honor. And we know both of these guys might be one of those guys this year.
All right, and right now, Yoshinobu Yamamoto getting the ball tonight, trying to add to his Cy Young resume here in 2026. Still more to come. Tommy Edman made his season debut on Wednesday, and then last night had 3 hits in the Dodgers come-from-behind win. He's getting the start at third base tonight. And coming up in Access, the Dodgers super utility guy talks one-on-one with Kirsten on being back in the lineup.
Thank you, John. Wherever you may be and however you may be joining us, welcome to Uniqlo Field at Dodger Stadium, getting ready for a fun Saturday night. But before that, we got to relive Friday. Cover your ears. Here's Helsley. Rushing to right. It is down for a hit. Ball's going to score. The throw home is late. The throw skips away. Here comes Ward, and the Dodgers win it at their last breath. Tell that guy to take a breath, will you? Next to the Bulldog, Oral Hershiser. I'm Stephen Elsing. Kirsten Watson is down next to the Dodger dugout. But Oral, the Dodgers picked up where they left off in the last series here at home.
You know what? Here at Dodger Stadium, come early, stay late, because everything's happening late, and it's exciting.
4 consecutive comeback and 1-run victories. Well, comeback victories have been a theme all year long in 2026.
They really have. And when you look at how they come back, a lot of times it is a home run, but a lot of times it's a different player. It's maybe a base hit. Maybe it's an error. Maybe it's a home run from Freddie Freeman. Maybe it's a home run from Miguel Rojas. And maybe even Shohei will chime in. But you know what? It's a big, deep roster. There's parts of it that are really hurt and not out there, but the guys that are playing are getting the job done.
Now we wonder tonight what kind of encore we're going to see from Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who is some kind of hot entering tonight.
Yeah, first 4 starts of the year in ERA around 2. Next 5 starts are 4 in the middle, kind of rough for him. But now, these last 5 starts, he's got an ERA of 1, and he's pitching against the team that he absolutely loves to pitch against. He almost made history against these Orioles, and now he's on a hot streak. Well, that last start against the White Sox, it was really good. We look forward to more of that.
He's won 4 of his last 5 starts entering the night. And the night, it has some big news attached to it. Atop the order, Kirsten Watson, what can you tell us?
It sure does, Stephen. Shohei Ohtani is back in the lineup. Of course, yesterday we know that he was away from the team as he and his wife, Mamiko, welcomed their second child. He posted on social media this morning saying that everything went well. The baby was born safely, right, Blake? They are happy, they are healthy, and what that means, potentially some extra dad strength. You know what I'm talking? He likes it over here. But yeah, so for Shohei Ohtani, back in the lineup today, Dave Roberts said that all is good for him. He's a full go. He is still scheduled to have the start on Wednesday, so he was out here playing catch this afternoon, but they do believe some extra dad strength might be coming with baby number 2 here, guys.
The best addition to the Ohtani household and the biggest addition to the Dodger lineup. We'll step aside one more time. Speaking of big, it's Shaquille O'Neal bobblehead night here at the Ravine. And the first pitch is coming when we come back on Sportsnet LA. Some get back for Yamamoto here tonight. Strikes him out on 3 pitches.
You could dot the inside corner of the 4-seamer, and then you bring the 2-seamer back like this pitch. It is precision.
Shortstop number 20.
That's 3. Finished him with a curve. Back-to-back Ks to escape the second with just 1 run across. Can I speak now?
Yeah, go.
The 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. The 1-2-3 third. Yamamoto with a K, but how about the defense behind him? As Holiday 1 and 2. Bases loaded, 1 out. The pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Fastball at 98, right by him. The first batter he's faced with the bases loaded since the 27th of April. And he strikes him out. Throws him. Strike three. The Baltimore got a two-run double from Alexander to grow the lead to 3. Ball and 2 strikes. And Yamamoto paints a fastball to get Mayo.
Whether it's been a righty up there or a lefty up there, that two-seamer to that side of the plate looking like it's going to be a ball, and inside the lefties, a ball away to righties. He has brought back over the edge very well tonight.
Yoshi, when you look at your outing today, you were, results-wise, you were, in fact, excellent. But just when you found yourself in a 2-strike count, how did you find just kind of at times struggling to put guys away in this one?
今日悪くはなかったと思うんですけども、その2ストライク取ってからの後ちょっと仕留めるのに時間かかってますけど、そこの要因っていうのは何でしょうか。
スプリットがこう感覚が良くなっていくのが、結構こう後のイニングになってしまったのと、他の球種の選択肢もあったので、なんとかそこまでは、他の球種を使いながら、こうなんとか、投げていってました。
So one of the issue was it took me a little time to get the feel for the splitter, and then in the meantime I was trying to grind out with different options with other pitches.
With kind of just working through that, how did you have to kind of make your own adjustments in game then?
Sorry.
Just making adjustments, knowing that you had to work
で
through.
そういうそこが分かってた上でそのゲームの中で微調整していくっていうのはどういう感じでしたか、その微調整のこと。
なんて言うんだろうね、よくあることではあるんですけど、本当ちっちゃなことで、少しこう落ちるところが、緩やかになったり、当てやすいような、スプリットになったり、ちょっとタイミングが合えばすごく落ちたりっていうのがあるので、そこを探りながら、言ってたんですけど、ちょっと、最後の方何球かいいボールありましたけど、今日はそこが少し、苦戦しました。
So I was struggling. It's kind of really small things, very subtle part in my delivery mechanics. It's sometimes, because you feel when you have, it's basically, because it's like a very kind of like a releasing point and other stuff. Sometimes balls moves quick, deeper. Sometimes it's a really small movement. So I was kind of looking for the right feel. And then that was a kind of like a biggest struggle for me today's game.
What were you seeing just from Rodgers and how he kind of limited the offense throughout most of this game tonight?
Yeah, I think tonight used a lot of fastballs, and it just seemed like he just, for me tonight, it just seemed like we got bullied tonight with fastball. You got it the fastball, and tonight he has a good fastball. He bores in on the right-hand hitters. Lefties is a tough at bat, but the righties, I think that he just really came after us with the fastball, and we just couldn't get anything going.
Look at the numbers as a whole for Yoshinobu. Obviously, it's a quality outing, only 3 runs. But then diving into it, what were you seeing from him, and just how he was unable to really put guys away tonight?
I think that's what it was. I thought the stuff was fine. He's going to go out there and be prepared, compete like he does. But it was just that you get count leverage and put him away with the split. And I just thought tonight he just didn't have that weapon tonight to, there were some 2-strike hits that he gave up on the split that continue to, keep their line moving. But again, he always finds a way to compete and keep us in a ball game.
Did you have a chance to talk to Ohtani, and if so, anything abnormal coming up in these next few days that you're going to have to kind of think about?
I talked to him briefly, congratulated him and Mamiko. He says his body feels great, so the day off was good for him. But I didn't talk much about anything else. So I think for us, it's just continue to move forward like we've been doing.
How much do you think him going deep to lead off the ninth kind of sparked that rally there?
I think it's a big part of it. Kittredge has a good arm, but for him to, put us on the board, and Andy had a good at bat. Ward makes a great play in left center. But yeah, we created something and gave ourselves a chance.
Did Trotter feel something in last night's game, or what sort of happened there that required?
He felt something in his elbow today. And so last night he came out feeling good, normal, and then he woke up today, and then his elbow was having a hard time, kind of full extension, and we tried to treat it today to see kind of how we could go and kick the can a little bit, and it just wasn't responding. So I think we're at that point in time we got Chase McDermott moving.
Has he undergone imaging or something?
He did get imaging done. I don't recall what the diagnosis is, but yeah, it's enough for him to be on the aisle, and he'll be down for a minute. I think it was more of just kind of staying away, get rest, versus anything more aggressive right now.
Sticking with pitching, Shohei Ohtani started the year by giving up 5 earned runs in his first 10 starts, John. In his last 2 starts, 7 earned runs. It certainly appears there is a blister he is dealing with. It appears to be pretty bad. It's to the point now where it's bleeding on the mound. He's wiping it on his pants. Do you think the blister is a big reason that we've seen these last 2 starts not be very good?
Oh, absolutely. That is the worst thing. I know pitchers get called sissies or whatever, when they're never going to call him that because he's more than a pitcher. But you absolutely have to have your digits. You got to have your fingers and your feel for the baseball, and anything that has any hot blister, it's going to eliminate pitches. It's going to eliminate spinning a baseball, more than you want to. And depending on where that blister sits, it's going to eliminate a lot of other things and command. So 100%, blisters are pitchers' nightmares. But the reality is that's what people don't understand about pitching. You have to have every facet working. You can't have a blister on your toe. You can't have anything that allows you to alter the way you deliver a baseball. Low back tightness. Everything has to be in order. And that's why starting pitchers, you need 4 days, 5 days, because there's so many things that you have to rely on when it's that given day that you're supposed to perform.
I was trying to explain to listeners and watchers the other day I pitched in college. I know a little, but I can't exactly explain as well as you could what a blister affects. But I said the last bit of zip on a ball, that extra bite on off speed. Can you explain exactly? It's on his middle finger. Can you explain what that does?
Yeah, that's where the blisters typically come. It's the inside part of your middle finger that really has the last kind of pressure point, whether it's a split finger or a slider. And, you develop callus, and the callus gets to the point where that's perfect, right? You can't, I know it sounds crazy, but I would never try to get my hands wet during the season because you never wanted your skin to be soft. So if I went in a hot tub, I'd wear a rubber glove. If I was doing the things that you have to do, you don't want that because you train all spring training and you get in the off season to get that callus, because once that callus is developed, unless it cracks, unless you have a nail, and that's the other thing, your nails are super important. And if you get a crack in the nail, that's where you get the tension and the pressure that comes along with, throwing a baseball.
Yeah.
今回も最後までご視聴いただき本当にありがとうございました。動画の内容を楽しんでいただけたでしょうか。もしよろしければチャンネル登録と高評価をお願いいたします。皆さんの応援が今後の動画制作の大きな励みになります。それではまた次回の動画でお会いしましょう。